Hey fishers! Whew, ordinary weather, eh? But anyway, that's part of life. It's winter time and the rain's good, I can assure you of that. Just as long as we don't get too much of it and too heavy, that's the only thing I'm worried about. But the dams are all chockers pretty well, and we've got a bit of activity around us. It's pretty hard to get a lot of reports flowing at this time of year, especially when the conditions are like this. But we're going to get some great fine days. I'm looking forward to them. I was supposed to go on Wednesday, but it was a bit miserable and raining, so I sooked out. I'm getting old and girly now, so yeah, part of life. Sorry, girls. Look, Dartmouth, we're still getting good reports from there. Some pretty consistent catches. Don't forget, if you're going down to Dartmouth, make sure you've got some lead line with you, because quite often if it goes glassy, you need to get down 20-25 feet. Lead line's pretty important down there. We're getting some really, really good trout. Now, over the last few weeks, there's been more big trout caught there in this last few weeks than there was in the whole season last year. So I'm pretty excited about it being a little bit better than it was last year. Actually, I think it might be a really good year on the trout scene in the Hume. Yes, the redfin are still there and they're still moving pretty well. The only issue you haven't got the birds around to show you where they are, and it's a matter of knowing how to use your sound. Trolling is probably the best way to find them at the moment, but they're getting some big reddies there and it's looking real promising. Here a few weeks ago when the birds were there, it was pretty darn easy to find a patch of redfin. You just go and find the birds, but that's not the visual thing we're looking for at the moment. You've got to use your sound and know how to use it, or troll around until you find them. So yeah, it's all right. Mulwala, a few big cod coming out of there. It's not going crazy, the odd one here and there. Some of the blokes down there are using the Garmin Live Scope and they're having a bit of success. Now, I've got a fair few people come into the shop, a few customers saying, oh, that's the cheat scope. Probably not. We all got our opinions on it, obviously. I think the only people who are calling it a cheat scope are the people that don't want to buy one, can't afford to buy one, or for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. It's technology, it's the way it is. They're not going to guarantee you fish, but my goodness gracious me, they save you a lot of casts. It's like when we go out hunting, when I go out hunting, instead of walking around for 3,000 miles, I use my binoculars and we scan the slopes and all that, looking for deer and animals and stuff like that, and it makes it a lot easier. Technology, it really does help. So, we're smart enough to use it, so by all means use it. So give it a go. Mind you, it's not going to guarantee you fish. Some of us old blokes who have been fishing for centuries, we could probably do without them, because we've got a bit of an understanding where we're going to find fish without too much trouble. But we certainly miss out like everybody else does. It's just a matter of putting in the time. The Murrumbidgee River looking good. Up and down like a yo-yo. You're gonna have a few problems with that. One day it's high, 2.5 metres. Next day it's down 1.5 metres, which as I speak at the moment is 1.5 metres. Water temperature's up okay though. It's about 11 degrees, which we're pretty happy with. You will catch a few on bait. Lure fishing's going to be hard at the moment, but there's plenty of crays. Get stuck into the crayfish and no problem at all. There's plenty of them around. Just make sure that you get a nice dry day to put your boat in. Otherwise you'll have to be doing it off the bank because it'll be a bit slippery. Blowering Dam, the odd few cod coming out of there. Look, you're working pretty hard. A couple of mates from Albury got one the other day as 1.10 metre, another one 1.15 metre, and it wasn't too bad. It's just a matter of casting lures around the middle of the night if you're keen enough. But we're still getting good reports, or reasonable reports, fishing off the bank with yabbies or our chicken hits bait, getting some really big cod doing that. That's worth the effort. Obviously it doesn't get the notoriety that the lure fishermen seem to get when they catch a cod, but they're catching plenty, I can assure you. But look, there is also some trout coming out of Blowering. Some nice trout up around Yellowham Bay, mainly rainbows, the odd brown, so it may come on the bite, it might be all right, and some nice redfin coming out of it. Again, same story, you've got to really look around till you find them with your sounder, and you will find the reddies without too much trouble. Calbingo, some redfin, the odd trout, Eucabean, Tentangara, Jindabyne. Haven't had any reports from up there, probably too darn cold, so next week we probably will. Just talking to the boys at Wangler, and there is a few nice cod coming out of there too. Working for them pretty hard, but they are catching some good ones, putting in the time and the effort. That's pretty typical of this time of year. Haven't heard of any yellows coming out of it. Burrendong Dam producing a lot of redfin at the moment. Pretty happy with that, so the boys up there are real excited. One thing that surprised me, Windermere. Yeah, some very, very nice cod coming out of Windermere. It's not known as a cod dam as a rule, more yellow belly dam, but they're starting to target cod there and getting some really big fish out of it. And Copeton's been a little bit on the quiet side over the last week or two, but as you can see, we've got a bit of activity around us. So this is the Compleat Angler's Fishery Report for this week. We'll catch you next week.